Alright, welcome to Richie Z's first cooking video. Today I'll be making something in the crock pot. It's my own concoction, doesn't have a name. It's kind of a beef and rice and beans, onions and mushroom thing that I do. And today I'm going to show you how to do it. So first, we're going to get the ingredients. I have the beef. It's all cut up and ready to go. Now, some of these pieces are a little big, so what I'm going to do is cut them up a little smaller with my fillet knife, just to make sure they're the proper size. We don't want the pieces to be too big. I'm going to cut a few of the pieces that I deem to be too large up so that they're smaller. I noticed that when I was defrosting the meat. Now this cut of meat, it's I think it's a flank steak or shoulder steak or something like that I previously cut up. And then I noticed when I was defrosting it that some of the pieces were a little bigger than I want. So I'm going to just make sure some of these big pieces are a little smaller, and we'll get to the rest of everything else. So, as I mentioned, my name is Richie Z, and you can see other videos of mine on YouTube. As an entertainer, I sing, and I have a show that I do, mostly for senior citizens, that I sing some Sinatra and some Elvis. I do Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin in the show. It's a fun show. But today, I'm going to cook because my friend wanted me to cook on a video, so I took the suggestion and I'm doing that. So now I'm getting, these pieces are pretty much all the right size now. Maybe a couple, there's another one, it's a little big, so I'll get that down. Alright, so now we have our meat. Take it off the plate. Now we want an onion. So I've selected an onion about this size. I usually do everything by the seat of my pants. So I look at that amount of meat and I choose an onion that I think will be the right size for that recipe. And so I've chosen this one. So I'm going to cut off the end. Cut off this end. Now I like to peel an onion. Get it started. I get the first couple of layers off. And the skin. And that way there's no, it's really down to the good part of the onion right away. There we go. So now I'm going to chop the onion up. Now I don't want this slices to be too small or too big. So I'm going to cut them about ½ an inch apart, both directions. And those pieces should be good. Okay, then we have our onion. Now, fresh mushrooms. I don't like to wash them. I just kind of like to rub the dirt off with my thumb. If there's any dirt on there, believe me, you're not going to know it. And also, you know, there are enzymes in dirt that our body needs. It's actually good for you to eat a little bit of dirt. Now, I don't propose you go outside with a spoon and start digging in your backyard and swallowing spoonfuls of dirt, but you know, a little bit, it's always good for you. And most people don't know that. So I'll just get a little bit of the dirt over there, so there's no big chunks. Okay, that's good. My hand. Alright, now we're going to slice the mushrooms. How I like to slice them is I slice them in half first. And then I like to slice them I'm doing a crock pot or recipe with a mushroom. I like to get the mushroom slices fairly thick, maybe 1/4 of an inch. But they're going to shrink up a lot in the cooking process, so we don't want them to be really too small. You want to know you're biting into a mushroom. Always be careful when you slice. Don't cut yourself. I always like to remind myself when I'm slicing something, I just tell myself, I will not cut myself. I will not cut myself. And then usually you don't, if you're thinking about it. It's when you don't think. That's when you have an accident. So I am consciously trying not to slice my finger at the moment. And that always helps. Got a few more. One more onion and then we're there. Okay, now we have all our ingredients for the first phase. And we need some Worcestershire sauce. Some teriyaki sauce. There's the teriyaki. Here's the Worcestershire. Now, unlike a lot of crock pot recipes, and you know, people usually think of a crock pot recipe as something where they just throw it in and then they don't have to worry about it. And that's good. That's a good thing. This is a little different though. This is in 2 phases. And the reason I like to do it in a crock pot is it gets the meat very tender. But because I add beans and rice later, I can't put the beans and rice in there right away because it won't come out the way it's supposed to. So those ingredients come in later when all this is cooked. So now I'm going to take this over to the crock pot, and since I don't have a cameraman, I'm going to have to move the camera myself. Here we go. Hi. My head might not be in the frame, but, well, that's what happens. Alright, how you doing? So, now I'm going to put everything in the crock pot. Take a spoon, gonna mix it all up so the meat isn't sitting all on the top. Okay. Now I'm gonna take the teriyaki, a little bit of teriyaki, not much. We don't want it to taste too Asian for this particular meal, because it's not really an Asian dish, but this will give it some flavor. Oh, I love Asian food. Maybe I'll do some of that in another segment. And you get some Worcestershire on here. Make it meat nice and tender. There we go. Like I said, I just kind of eyeball everything. I know that wasn't too much or too little. Stir it around. Now we're going to add just a little bit of water. I use filtered water. Not much, just maybe, I'll show you, maybe just that much. And I couldn't find my measuring cup at the moment, so I winged it with a glass. Just dump it in like that. Put the lid on. Turn it on low. Make sure it's plugged in. One time I cooked something, it wasn't plugged in, and that wasn't good. So it's plugged in, it's on, and now in about 8 hours, I'll check this, make sure that the meat is nice and tender, and then it's on to my second phase, which you'll see in a separate video right after this one. Thanks.